do you have the tattoo of the Olympics on your
Yeah, it's
arm?
here. Wait, let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, here you go.
Oh, that's dope.
There you go.
Um,
I wanted something a little bit more special. I was like, let's incorporate the Philippine flag in there. So I drew something down, and then my brother's fiance like edited it a little bit because I was in my hotel in Tokyo when it happened. I was just drawing it. I was about to fly out now. I was like, you know what, Olympic rings would be nice, but like, I really take pride in representing the Philippines in like a bigger stage. Let's put it there. So I was like, the three stars in the sun are on my arm.
yeah, I want to talk about your LPGA career, obviously as a pro, but then I'll go to the Philippine side right now first, because when I look at representing the Philippines, obviously, like you said, it means so much. But then but even for me, like coming to America, it's like you come with a certain level of intimidation. Na parang I'm not I grew up in the Pinas, like I didn't have as much things with me, so maybe I didn't develop as well. I'm curious for you in holding and hoisting this flag for for a whole country in a sport. Is that more pressure or is there less pressure because you're like, ah well, we're not as we're not given the same as some of these other people.
It's definitely a lot of pressure. But you know what they say, pressure is privilege. So I think I've kind of gotten used to I feel like I was given the opportunity to represent the Philippines at a very young age. Like I said, if I'd compete in the US, I'd be representing the Philippines. Um, so I think at a very young age, it was instilled in me that it's very important. Like what I'm doing was very important. And again, like I take pride in doing that because not everyone's given the same opportunity. So yeah, it's definitely a lot pressure. You have a whole country rooting for you, and you're just representing a whole country, and people are gonna see like I don't know how to explain it. It's just yeah, you're representing a whole country, and it's just funny because when you're out on tour, like people are surprised, like, oh, you're from the Philippines. Well, obviously, because again, like there weren't many players. Like again, we had Jennifer Rosales. We even had like Dorothy the last, and although she had already, I think she grew up in the U.S. I can't remember. She also won a couple events, but she was another name that I looked up to because we didn't really have much. Basically, just the two of them. So it's also like being an inspiration to the younger generation and those who dream of being on a bigger stage in sports in general.
Yeah. I was gonna save this for later, but since we you brought that up, like if you, like have you has it dawned on you that that's you now that that the grade school Bianca who was looking up at Jennifer Salas or even at Chris Chu, there are people now who are looking at you like that. Like is that
It's
because you seem so
unreal.
chill, but like that's you now, right?
I just seem chill deep down. I like panic. I just mask it pretty well. No, I'm kidding. But it's definitely hard to believe, but I'm also proud of like everything I've achieved because it really felt so far away, like really out of reach. And I've seen how golf has developed in the Philippines, and you know, there are so many good junior golfers on the rise that I hope that what I'm doing can somewhat inspire you a little bit, even just the slightest inspiration. Like, I'm gonna be so happy with that. But there are so many other professional golfers. It feels really great to say that. Like, we have people competing in like the European tour around Asia. So there's just a lot of people to look up to now, and it's again like it's really hard to believe. Like if I told my younger self like, hey, that's gonna be you up there, and one day there might be a little girl who will look up to you. It sounds like a really huge responsibility, but I'm ready to take on that task just because of like everything that I went through as a kid, like everything that I've had to sacrifice. So it feels good. It's a lot of pressure, but I take pride and I'm really, really honored and blessed to be able to have that pressure on me.
What in terms of the developmental program in the Philippines though, like where where is it at right now, and where do you think how do you think it can get better so that there could be more people like you moving forward?
Golf is in general, it's an expensive sport. Like we all know that. But seeing where like the National Golf Association of the Philippines is at right now. I remember when I was a member of the training pool, it was so hard to compete in international events because we're like, can't afford to like fly me to all these tournaments in Asia because they could like we just couldn't afford doing that. I would compete within the Philippines, but anything international, I'd probably be like, I don't think we can handle that right now. But now, they don't even have to worry about that. All they really have to think about is like playing good golf and being able to perform well so they could, represent in all these international events and have that exposure, which is so important if you want to become a better golfer. Like you can't just be the best in the Philippines. You need to see where your game is at, by competing with better players or really just people who are better than you. I think that's a great way to assess where you're at with your game. But yeah, it's like it's I was like I kind of feel bad because back in my day we struggled to even have like team uniforms. And now they don't even have to worry about that. Like you get their golf I'm pretty sure they get their golf balls, their uniforms, like their golf bags. And all they really have to think about is golf. Unlike, my time, we had a lot of other things to think about just for me to be able to compete. And it shouldn't have been that way, but it's okay. Like, at least it's a lot more progressive now in terms of the program, and they're really trying to help a lot more junior golfers.
I guess that's partly because of seeing someone like you get here.
You know
Um,
what they say? It's like you have to leave it better than you found it.
right.
So this is great. Like I love what I'm seeing, and makes me feel happy that they're taking a step to the right direction. Because like I mentioned, all the other countries in Asia, like especially in Thailand, it's crazy. Like
Right.
their programs are so good. They have so many great players. Like you have the Tanagons, you have Patty Tavatanakit, you have Gino, and then there's so many others on the rise, and especially with Korea and Japan. So I was like, you know what? If they can do it, there's got to be some way for us to be able to do it too.
Right.